Hi, Crystal. I hope you're having a good day.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. Now we're going to get this the right way. So, we are going to talk a little bit about what you've been creating in the last little while. And I want to start with you introducing yourself and telling you a little bit about your background.
Sure. My name is Crystal Kustra, and I am a holistic lifestyle coach. I've been a coach for 8 years through the Czech Institute. And before that, I was a personal trainer. So the coaching was born out of realizing that personal training only focuses on the fitness. And in order to help people reach their goals, you really need to look at all of the elements of health, really looking at health holistically. So the coaching enables me to do that for people. So that's my background. I started with a degree in psychology, and then I got my fitness and health promotion diploma before I went through the coaching training and the personal training certification.
Awesome. So, the video that you gave to me to watch was amazing, and it talked about all sorts of different things. And I want you to give us a little bit of description of what that video entails and has to offer us.
Sure. So that video is on the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle. And I was inspired to create it after having my own journey of hormonal imbalance and realizing that I knew next to nothing about my menstrual cycle, this thing that had been happening to me every month or every day of every month since I was 12 years old. And so I started doing a ton of research to educate myself and was especially inspired by people like Alyssa Vitti and Jen Pike. And I put it all together in this video to help people understand their own menstrual cycle and all of the potential that lies in knowing what's going on with your body and your hormones from one day to the next, and being able to utilize different types of movements and different forms of feeding yourself and taking care of yourself in order to have the best experience every day of your cycle.
Absolutely. And what would you say is your number one recommendation for those who are interested, just quickly, like a quick tip on knowing more about their cycles and learning more about their bodies? Like, what would be the first step to take?
The first step would be to track your menstrual cycle. So day one is your bleed. When you really start to bleed, this isn't spotting that happens sometimes before a cycle, but when you really go into your bleed, that's day one. And figuring out how many days are in your cycle, because that can vary from one woman to the next. And then you can start to develop menstrual cycle awareness, is what it's called. And then you can start to line up those days with the information that's in my video or in other resources that talks about what you can expect from your hormones on day one versus day 15 versus day 28.
Awesome. And what would you say were the biggest things that you took out of really finding your cycle and listening to your body?
The biggest things I took out was just a better understanding of myself, especially I would say in the harder parts of my cycle, or what felt like the harder parts, because, for instance, the luteal phase right before you start bleeding is often when people experience things like PMS and tricky moods and all kinds of symptoms that don't feel comfortable and sometimes feel downright painful. And it really helped me have a greater appreciation for this phase in particular, and not only how to reduce the symptoms that occur in that phase, but also to know what that phase is best for emotionally. For instance, it's a really great time to take inventory of how your month's been and what's working for you and what hasn't been working. And you're in an emotional time where you can express those things better. If you need to have an honest conversation with somebody, for instance, about how things have been and how you need them to be going forward, or just getting to the bottom of some things, you're more emotionally prepared to do that, which I found was really interesting and explained why I would be more likely to have those conversations, and then being able to have a better awareness around them and more appreciation for the fact that I wasn't trying to create drama or start anything with anybody. I was just trying to fix things that didn't seem like they were working in my life and
Cool.
in the relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what would you say you can bring to people? Like if you coach them, what are the things that you would do with them to help them build or know better, know more about their bodies?
Yeah, so starting to coach people on this specifically has been really exciting, just sharing this information about this cycle and the general things you can expect from day to day. From, like I said, for every day is different depending on where your hormones are at, and addressing people's specific symptoms that have really been affecting their experience, whether it's PMS symptoms of cramping or bloating, or sleep issues that they've been having. There are a lot of symptoms that are connected to the endocrine system and hormonal health and wellness that people don't even realize. So it's been really exciting to help other people make those connections and to be able to re-experience their cycle and to recognize it as a powerful thing that we experience as women, that isn't our downfall and doesn't have to be a painful, uncomfortable, shameful thing that we're experiencing. It's our birthright. And I'm starting to get into research on perimenopause and naturally learning a lot about menopause too and what's ahead. And it's, I think the most exciting thing for me right now is realizing that each of those phases of our lives come with opportunities to transform ourselves and to learn more about ourselves, and to come into different opportunities of, for instance, during your menstrual phase, you're more likely to be taking care of your family and your immediate unit. But as you come into perimenopause and menopause, you're starting to look outward more and bring in the community and the world into the empathy that you feel and the instinct that you have to care and to make a difference.
Okay, interesting. Super interesting. Do you have any last little bit that you'd like to share with us before we head out?
I would just say a strong encouragement to know your body and to educate yourself on this information. I can't emphasize enough how much it's changed my life. And I think that it's so important, even if you're in the later stages of your menstruation or you've already entered perimenopause or menopause, we as women, especially entering those later phases, have such an opportunity to educate the younger generations and to make sure that they have this information right from the get-go, because what a different experience. I can only imagine myself if I knew all of this back when I was 12 years old going into it. It would be completely different. The relationship I would have with my body and the way that I would be able to show up in the world.
That's great. And that's what I've been taking also for my daughters, because I'm going to be able to offer them that since I've started for myself as well. So
Absolutely.
Crystal has a video that she shared with me. It's $10. It's absolutely amazing. It's just about an hour long, right? If I remember,
Mhm.
of information about the different cycles and how to start really breaking down those cycles. So if you're interested in getting that video, Crystal's going to be in the group for the next little while. So you can contact her, personally message her if you have any questions per se, or if you want to have the video for yourself. contact Crystal and she'll be able to send that link to you. So thank you, Crystal, for your time, and thank you for everything you've been doing. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, France.
Bye, Crystal.
Bye.